My name's Ken Bibrai, and I host a thought leadership series called Coffee with Ken. And we started it during the pandemic, and it was really meant to kind of be an opportunity for a broader audience to have a 101 on various topics and issues. And we have interviewed folks from Miramax and Hollywood and Leslie Odom Jr. and the Librarian of Congress. So we're thrilled to kind of continue this thought leadership around culture and media and television. And Jenn is a star. If you were here last night, you saw her MC the awards dinner. Didn't she crush it?
I've just PowerPoints are my preferred medium. It's just something I love.
And it's like with this incredible career, but like your comedic humor and everything. So we're thrilled to have you on Coffee with Ken, and really grateful again to the North Fork TV Festival, their 10th anniversary. Thrilled to be here and have this conversation. So as we dive in, Jenn, I really appreciated your flow yesterday of kind of embracing the symbolism of what this festival means, right? And it's really an opportunity to celebrate and elevate. What does this festival mean to you? What is being here with all of this young talent, experienced talent? What's the significance of that?
I love Noah Doyle, and I love this festival because I think that shepherding art into being, especially pilots, independent television, all these kinds of things, it's such a difficult process. It is so hard to get something made. It's so what's that quote? It's easy to critique, it's hard to create. And so to have something that buoys young talent, old talent, whatever, just the creative spirit, I think is not only necessary, it's inspirational.
It also feels like an opportunity to stay ahead of the curve, right? Like these things are just changing, and
Yeah.
yeah. So we want to dive in first, your origin story. Coming from North Carolina, how did you get into acting? Was this like what you had set out to do? What put you on this path?
My dad's a preacher, a Methodist minister, and my brother was very math and science oriented, and I was very fart joke oriented. So it kind of that's where the paths diverged. Um, no, but we would always do church plays, and you always do the nativity at Christmas. And my dad never let me be Mary because that would be showing favoritism. And I wanted Mary really bad. I'd have to be like a shepherd or a lamb or whatever. Within 1 year, I got to be the star in the night sky. And I got to say, okay, that heralded the arrival of the baby Yezu. And I got to say, behold, we bring you good tidings of great joy. And I just relished it so much. And I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I love that.
I was also greedy. I was greedy for more than one life. I wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a doctor. And I was like, the only way I'm going to get to do all those things is just to play pretend.
I want to dive into that a little bit because I saw you reference that in a podcast, like the ability to live different lives. And I never actually thought about acting in that vein. So talk a little bit more about that, and take us through roles that you've played where maybe you didn't expect to enjoy, right? Like maybe
Yeah.
playing a villain or, something different.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've gotten to play such in the early part of my career, I played so many um prostitutes with a heart of gold. You know what I mean? It's just something, it's in my wheelhouse.
Scene, right?
Yeah. And then now I'm somehow entering my rich villain era, which I never thought I would get to, and is very exciting. It's very exciting to play someone that's just morally bankrupt and in it to watch shit burn, because you never get to do anything like that in real life. So it's so fun to do. But I'm really lucky that I got to do shows like Born Yesterday. I got to do writing like Garson Kanin. Like Richard was saying, I got to do a Tom Stoppard trilogy on Broadway. To be able to work with language like that and heightened text is just everything. It's so exciting.
And was Esther from Dead Boy Detective something in that vein?
Ooh, gosh, she's a witch. And she eats children to stay young. And who among us hasn't
Like
had a
every
similar
classic
thing?
fairy tale
Come
to
on.
me.
But it was my first time doing something fantasy where you have green screens and whatever, and you have to conjure a dagger out of thin air. And the VFX isn't happening while you're there. And I found it so embarrassing to be like, I'm about to show you guys my idea of what it looks like to conjure a dagger. Like, I sort of like, it's like I have a playful spirit, but I was like looking at the camera guy that really wanted to go to lunch. And I was like, I'm trying to conjure it as fast as I can. And yeah, so it was like I had sort of like overcome an embarrassment hump. And if you ever want to be an actor, really try to pretend you're riding a dragon. Really give it your all and like pretend like the dragon is like breathing fire on a city or something. It is a super dumb feeling.
I love that. Um, well, look, a lot of folks in this room may have been actors and been in the industry. A lot of folks like myself and people who watch our show haven't per se.
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of understand the dynamics of on set. Like what happens when you're not on camera? How is the set dynamic different from, show to show? And maybe like what's the culture like on the shows that maybe do really well, right? Like cuz I feel like even in regular work and day jobs, like culture matters, right? And then you don't really think about like what happens behind the scenes and like how much does that matter? I'd love
Yeah.
like your
Well, like when we were doing Claws, the cast loved each other so much. And also the crew loved each other. And we did it in New Orleans. So for like 4 seasons, you're spending like 5 or 6 months out of the whole year in New Orleans, which is the best city. I mean, it's not good for your skin or your mind or any other part of your waistline, anything. But
beignets and
the sense of community there is so cool and like and you get to know everybody so well, like, you're so close with the crew, like, you know that, like, the crafty guy's going through a custody dispute, and, costumes just had a baby, and you're just, like, in everybody's business all the time, and it translates. You're a family, and it's so great, and sometimes when you're a guest star, you, like, come into a set where, like, it's tense for no reason, and you don't know why, and it's like you just gotta sorta keep to yourself and try to get the job done. So, yeah, it matters.
so diving in still behind the scenes, you as an actor, how much of your time is reactive to opportunities coming your way versus like you wanting to be proactive and then find a role or a character or a director or someone you want to partner with? How does that dynamic work? How has it worked for you in the past?
Sure, I mean, there's this idea I would love to disabuse everyone of. When people are like, "What drew you to this role?" I'm always like, "Unemployment." It's what really got me out of bed. Because, like, this idea, unless you're in, like, the top 5% of actors, nobody's sending you scripts and being like, "Do you want to?" Like, you're just auditioning for things and, trying to pay rent. Yeah. So that's what it's like, and, like, of course, I have dream directors I wanna work with, I have people I wanna work with, but, like, it's just mostly trying to, like, hustle. My manager, Tigran, is here, God bless him, and I'm just hustling for the next gig, and there was a time, like, over the summer like, a couple of months ago, I was like, "I'm cat sitting.
If anyone wants to fill,
What's going on? Anything?" So, yeah.
that was like Chris yesterday mentioning like just go on vacation.
Yeah,
You're back.
exactly.
Call.
Sure, yeah.
When did you actually know that acting was what you wanted to do?
Gosh. Well, probably in that nativity play. When I was no, well,
Let me reframe it.
I knew it was
Yeah.
something I could do, but I think I knew that other people would let me do it. I guess when I was doing, like, regional theater, when I was first out of school, I got a BFA in theater, which is super useful. Um, I mean, it really is. You learn a craft, but, like, nobody cares. Uh, but the fact that, like, I was, like, working in an ice cream shop and going to auditions and stuff, and, like, that a theater in Seattle would be like, "We want her to do it." And I was like, "Oh, maybe I can do this." I remember, like, being in the wings of I was doing a show, like, when I first graduated school with Jesse Tyler Ferguson. We were doing a weird musical in Philadelphia, and we were both in the wings, and he had, like, a more established career than me at that time, and I had, like, big tears in my eyes, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I just can't believe they're paying me." I was like, "I just feel so lucky." And he was like, "Oh my god, get out." He was like, "It's your cue." Yeah.
That's amazing. And you alluded to it, right? Like you've been in movies, in television, on theater.
Yeah.
What? Tell us about the variety. It feels as an outsider like it's a little hard in each of those mediums, separate and apart.
Yeah.
Which one did you enjoy the most?
Theater's like God, like Richard Kind was speaking to it. It's like it's so special because you get time to really live in this world, and also, like, when the different departments come together, like, costumes is, like, squirreled away making the outfits, and the wig makers are making the wigs, and the lighting guys and then you come together in tech, and there's a sense of real respect for each department because you are I don't know, you're also getting paid peanuts, and nobody's bringing you water or any I mean, the first time I was on a set, and I went to craft services, and I was like, "Is there a donation box, or what do I leave money?" And they were like, "No, no, it's for you to have, it's free." And I was like, "Well, I also have some Tupperware, so I hope it's free to go as well." But yeah, so that was, like, really different, so I love theater, and it's also like camp. You're with everybody all day, every day,
Same setting, same
same
space.
setting, doing the same things, weird shit happens, and you laugh about it in the wings. My great friend Molly is here, and we met doing a John Guare play in New Jersey at Princeton, and it was the worst play, but it was like, it was not well received by the audience, but we loved doing it so much. Like, we'd see each other backstage, and we'd be like, "Is this great or what?" And then we'd come out for curtain call, and, like, half the people had left. So there's, like, a sense of solidarity there that, like, in TV, sometimes you don't get because everybody's got their own thing, unless you're on a long-running show, and then that's when you're involved in everyone's divorces. Yeah.
But you're right, like, TV could be longer, you film it there's the theater, you have that instant kind of
Yeah, you're just with each other so much. Yeah.
so as you look at the industry and how it's evolved throughout your career, and you look at streaming and content creation and TikTok, all this
Yeah.
stuff, how does that inform your path forward, your decision making, how to figure out projects? Like, are these things good things? Are they bad for the industry? Well, what's your just
I sure don't know, man. I don't have any real conclusions. I mean, I have like evidence of my own journey, but I don't know if that's applicable. I know that social media for me, I got off of it like 3 years ago because it's just not good for my particular brain. I would find myself, it made me so sweaty. I don't know another word, but it made me feel very sweaty, physically sweaty. It was like I would wake up and I had been scrolling for hours and being very sweaty. And I found that I couldn't look out of my own eyeballs without thinking, like, I couldn't go to anything without being thinking about what I was going to post about it. And like, I needed, I just was outsourcing all my worth basically. Like, I felt like something didn't exist if I didn't show it. You know what I mean? But Bruce Springsteen has this great line. He says, it's show business, not tell business, you know? But I felt like I was telling everybody everything about my life. But in my real life, I don't want my neighbors to look at my recycling. You know what I mean? Like, I want my own life. And I want to be able to be present with people in a room without being so addicted to my phone. And I just have a little addict brain. I couldn't, but I think for other people, it's like they have the constitution to do it. And it's great for them. And I love getting free stuff more than probably is normal or right. And when I was in social media, dude, sometimes people would send you free stuff. They would get in your DMs and be like, "Would you like this Fab Fun Fit box with a jump rope in it?" And I'd be like, "Would I? I do want that.
how did you know?
How did you know?" And then, or they'd be like, one time I got this free. They were like, "Well, we can come to this resort in Mexico for free. And all you have to do is 7 posts about it." I went to the resort. I took my parents. I got 3 posts in and I was like, "I'd like to pay for this. I can't in good conscience." I think there was like a hurricane, there were wars happening. And I was like, "Thank you, Carmel Excellence. This guacamole doesn't owe me nothing." Like, I couldn't do it.
Just thinking of that Ja Rule festival at the
Yeah, it was a I mean, I just couldn't. There's something about, like, the promotion of myself and others that just I'm too sweaty.
well, that role sounded challenging.
Yeah, it's
But
challenging.
getting back to your day job,
Yeah.
tell us about some of the roles in the past that were unexpectedly challenging in a way maybe you weren't expecting, as the character maybe evolved or developed.
Dude, what even? Um, you know, maybe doing sometimes it's hard to, like, come in and do, like a guest starring role or a recur when like you kind of have ideas about who this person is or how you want the scene to go, but then you come in and nothing is set up in this way for you to be able to do any of that. And costumes has a very different idea for you. And sometimes it can be hard to push back and be like, boy, I don't think this lady'd be wearing capris. And then you get there and it's just a full rack of capris. And you're like, wow, I gotta so you wanna be a team player, but then you also gotta it's not very challenging, let's talk about capris. But
No, but it kind of is because like you have in your mind what the character is,
yeah,
right? Like, and you're the person playing that.
yeah.
So I could totally appreciate like
Yeah,
that is
totally.
a thing. I imagine.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll have, like, directors that come in, and if you're a guest director, you want your episode to have every color in the rainbow. But if you're the one that's been there for a lot of episodes, you're like, "I showed that color just last episode, and I know you want me to scream cry while sliding down a wall, but I've scream cried and slid down this very wall a couple of times." So, it's like you wanna be collaborative, but you also wanna be, protective in a way, I
Yeah,
guess.
because I mean, some of the roles you played are they're raw, they're humorous, like
Yeah, yeah.
to
Yeah.
get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's something also about I think acting is a thing that you kinda just think you can do. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, I could do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but could you do it 12 times and then do it 12 times from that angle and then 13 times from this angle?" And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, it is a craft. It is a technique. Not only the living in the given circumstances, but understanding the camera and understanding, what you need to give and how to conserve your energy too is very hard for me.
Because there's stamina, endurance, focus.
Yeah,
That's
because
not
I'll
even
yeah,
talking about the
I play too
resilience.
hard. I play too hard in the production van. I play too hard in the cast chairs, and then by the time I go to shoot, I'm exhausted because I played.
So we have coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So as you look around at what kind of, we just had this very interesting conversation about social media. As you look at the content on television that's being put out there, do you think there's a gap in what maybe viewers want or should have access to in terms of like the type of content or stories that maybe aren't being told today?
Dude, I don't know, cause like, there's so much, right? Like, you
Or it's
look
overwhelming?
at all these streamings and you're like, "I didn't even know." Like, my, Aurora Perrineau was on this show called Chaos that had Jeff Goldblum in it. It was basically like Eurydice and the story of Orpheus and everything. And because the marketing was weird, I just watched it like a year after it had already been canceled, and I was like, "What a great show." But like I didn't know about it because there was so much going on. Like I don't really know. I don't know the answer. I try to watch a lot of stuff. And yeah, and so much of it is so good. Like I don't really know. I don't know. There's a lot of streamers and there's a lot of stuff to watch. And I don't know if that's sort of like the difference between like you ever heard, like, the distinction between, like, maximizing and satisficing? It's like the 2 kinds of choice makers, and some are like, "I want a choice between, like, a large coffee and a small coffee. Just give me that." And some people are like, "I want the frappuccino, I want the da-na-na, I want the da-na-na," and it's like it's just kind of just like a personal preference thing. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let's talk more about what you have coming down the pike, right? I think NBC announced Stumble and Sirens. Like, what else is happening on your in your world?
Well,
Stuff.
I'm totally stoked about this pilot, you guys. It is so funny, and I don't know if you watched the docuseries Cheer on Netflix during the pandemic. And it's about competitive cheerleading. I'm not talking about rah-rah girls. I'm talking about junior colleges and tossing women into the air so high, we still haven't found them, but we'll never stop looking. And it is just that world is so insular and odd and athletic and weird. And Jeff Astroff and Liz Astroff, these two great sibling writers who did like Trial and Error. Jeff was a showrunner on Friends. Like they wrote this script that was so funny. And I get to play the head cheerleading coach, Courtney, who has a real fall from grace. She was one championship away from being the winningest coach in college cheer history at Sammy Davis Senior Junior College. And then she has a fall from grace, and it's got like a bad news bears element to it. She got to get a ragtag team together. And we had the best time shooting it. I laughed so hard. I get to trip over stuff, run into things. And that's my dream.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, as you're looking kind of forward, aside from that, like what else should we be keeping an eye out for? What else are you kind of focused on?
Well, if you see any good scripts, I'll give you my email. Let me know if they're hiring. Um, yeah, I just want to. I know it sounds like small ambitions, but in this industry, in this time since the pandemic and the strikes, every actor is like, I just want to work, man. Like, even though there's a plethora of shows, the auditions are few and far between. Like, and so the competition for them is like super fierce. And yeah, I just want to work. I want to work on great things. I want to work on mediocre things. I want to work on slightly bad things.
Amazing. So as you look around to this younger audience, the people we had in the room last night, when you talk to young creators and actors,
Yeah.
do you have kind of like set advice, guidance, suggestions?
Because our business is like it or not, it's based on consensus, right? Like, even if you're an auteur and you write your own shit, whatever, you still have to have an audience that wants to look at it. You have to agree. There should be an agreement between you and some people to look at you and you look at them and you do a thing. So, my advice, honestly, is to create a source of life for yourself that is outside of being like perceived and loved and whatever. Like, go volunteer at a dog shelter, go donate blood. Don't post about it, just do it. Hold it in your secret heart. Like, help an old lady in your building pick up her prescriptions. Like, develop a personhood that isn't necessarily connected to like cultivating a crowd. And I think it will deepen your acting, dude. It'll make you, I don't know,
Better first
it'll make you a better
vibes.
person. It'll give you the vibes. Thank you, Ken. Um, and it'll also sustain you because there is so much rejection and stuff. You'll be like, well, I didn't get that role, but I did help that old lady get her prescriptions at CVS. So it's fine.
Well, I feel like that's a perfect segue to kind of a wind down question around your own advocacy and involvement in your community, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've been an advocate for mental health issues, for
Yeah.
Wishy's issue. You volunteer in Brooklyn at
Yeah.
food pantries. Tell us a little bit about how you use your celebrity, your time, putting your hat on and just going and
I'm gonna
serve.
tell you what, I am not a celebrity in those spaces. Like, the food pantry actually recently shut down because New York City like raised the price of permits to do it. It's terrible. Anyway, but to just be like working with beside people, they're just being people and you just know you're like organizing a freezer and being upset that you're not allowed to drive the forklift, which I should be allowed to do. I should be. Um is so great. It's also what I love about New York, like, you're just all smashed up together. Like, you're beside a plumber, a Hasidic mom, a teacher, like, whatever, like, you're all just smushed together so that you are surrounded by humanity, you're surrounded by story, it's like I just think that's the most important, and I owe it to my mom and dad. My dad's a preacher, my mom's a nurse, so, like, they led a life of service, and they always say and this is a Shirley Chisholm quote, that's frequently attributed to everybody else, but she said, "Service is the rent you pay for being alive." And I just believe that. I think that that's, like, the most important thing.
Amazing. I mean, first of all, that's a it is.
Give it up for mom and
Yeah,
dad.
I know. Um, as just getting back to your career and past roles, are there things that you've learned from these roles? Like, you go, is it formulaic? You get in a character, you perform the role, or do you reflect afterwards? Like, does the character ever teach you anything after an experience? How does that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what Richard Kind was saying about the drive home, man, poof. What did wait, what's the how do you say it? What's the French phrase? It's like l'esprit de something. No, it means the wit of the staircase. It means the thing you wish you said, like 15 minutes later. It's like l'esprit d'Ascari or something like that. Um, I like to imagine a candlestick that came alive and he's saying it. Um, but yeah, like that sort of idea that like after you do something, you're like, oh God, that's what I should have done. But I think every role you play has something to teach you because it's all about pursuing objectives, right? What does this person want? And how do they go about getting it? And what do they do when they don't get it? Which is the story of everybody's life. Um, So I think it always makes you feel more connected. You got it. L'escalier. L'esprit de l'escalier. Yeah, the wit of the staircase. Like, it haunts you, right? But also, that's what every story is about, like trying to get something and failing and trying again. And every character you play is doing that at its essence. And so yeah, I think you learn a lot about, also you play people that you would judge otherwise. Like, I just did this show called Happy Face on Paramount, and I play a woman who is one of those women that falls in love with a man accused of a heinous series of crimes, and he's in jail, and she loves him. And there are these women, you see them in documentaries, and they're like, they love Ted Bundy, they love the night, what was that? Night Stalker. Like, they go to his, yeah, the minute they go to these court trials, and you're like, you watch that and you're like, "What? What? This guy murdered so many people." And then I got to play this woman who's in love with somebody, and like, she really believes that there is a part of him that is untainted by the things that he did, that you shouldn't be painted by your worst brush, even if your worst brush is the murder of 9 plus people. She believes in this part of him, and, like, whether or not that's because she wants the love at a remove, or whether or not it teaches her something about her to love and that's her service or whatever, like, I don't know, I came away from that being like, I will judge those women less because I got to kinda be in those clothes.
Yeah. So you can't necessarily pick your next role or what's coming down the pike, but
Yeah.
I mean, just after spending some time with you yesterday and today, I mean, is more comedy something you'd be interested in doing more of? I mean,
Yeah, I just wanna avoid cat sitting if I can. If anybody has a dog, I'd rather do that. Um, yeah, I love comedy, I love drama. I mean, the thing about comedy is that it's inherently so vulnerable. Everybody's always like, "Isn't it weird that the funny people were the sad ones?" And I'm like, "Is it? Is it?" Like, it's already, it's, like, right there, and all what comedy does is, like, it just subverts it. It takes a view, and then it goes, because there is an inherent, like, vulnerability there. So it's saying the same thing, it's just, like, going around the corner to say it.
so the last kind of question I'll ask you before we open up to the audience is through your career, and I just don't know how this works. Like you get formal training early, you work in theater. Are there things you do on an ongoing basis to kind of stay ahead, stay sharp, be ready for the next audition?
I'm just laughing because my friend Molly is a brilliant actress in her own right, and she continues to take class. Like, she is so good at it, and she'll tell me, she's like, "Today in clown class," and I'm always like, it feels like a fresh hell. Like, I would rather do anything than go take class. Boy, I don't wanna do it, and I think that that resistance should probably, like, tell me something about myself, like, I just am unwilling to learn, I guess. Um, but I don't. I should. I read a lot, and that keeps my imagination sharp, and, I get in a lot of fake arguments in my head, in the shower. I guess that counts. Yeah.
It's
I mean, I write comedy, I read my friends' scripts and stuff, yeah.
beautiful. Well, first of all, thank you again to the North Fork TV Festival. Jen, what a treat. I
Oh,
appreciate you taking the time. Um, and this incredible venue and these amazing people, and it's been an amazing couple of days. But I think now I should let all of you ask a couple of questions to Jen because I've monopolized it, and you probably all have better questions that are more insightful about the industry.
so they're like, "What
I'll
kinda
open it
cat?"
up.
"Babe, let me tell you something. Did I try? Yes, I did. Did I try?" And also, one of the outfits, they, like, made for us custom out of what I believe was upholstery because it was so hot. Um, and I tried, I really tried. I snuck away with this one sort of moo moment, but I'm always trying to steal those costumes. I get home and I'm always like, "Oops, I forgot to take my bra off." And then I'm like, "Free bra."
Jen, it's so sober. I hear you talk about the challenge that you have even like today in your career. Will you share a little bit more with us about some of these war stories of like walking into these sets where you're like, shit, I gotta like do a job, and it's like so you can like feel the tension, cut it with a knife, like how
Oh, dude. It's so scary, like, and I'm such a sensitive, I have friends that are like my friend Judy, she's from the Bronx. She's been in the business forever. Nothing touches her. Water off a duck's back. She's like, this is bullshit. That's bullshit. Watch this. I come in and I'm like, oh no, somebody's mad at somebody and I've got to fix it. I got to mend this fence. It like, I take it on. I worry about it. It's not great. I worry it like a loose tooth. Like it's something I can do anything about. I overestimate my own importance in any situation. Um, so like it's like you gotta keep doing your job and try to take the temperature a little bit less, I guess, would is what I think. I'd love to try it that way. I'll tell you what's even more of a war story is going into auditions where something is weird. Like you hear the people before you, they're laughing, everything's great. You're like, I'm about to go into a warm room, and you go in and it's Siberia. But you don't know if everybody's got low blood sugar. You don't know if there's something on your face. You don't know what's happening. And my Chris was telling a story last night about like calling his agent and his agent being like, "What did you do?" And I had a brilliant agent named Jay Kane, and I would blow a call back, and I would call him and I'd be like, "Jay, just get me back in there. I can do better." And he'd be like, "Honey, nobody wants that. Most of all, casting. Nobody wants that." Like so, like to pick yourself up day after day, because at least when you go on a set where there's tension, you kinda already got the job. What are they gonna do, fire you? Maybe. But hopefully not, because they, like, gotta make their day. Tom's like, "We'll fire you." Um, but I think the auditions are even more harrowing, you know? To if you're a young actor in the room or even a old actor, whatever you are, middle, um, to keep your to keep everything zipped up and your little skin suit on with your little self intact while suffering like the slings and arrows of all the no's and the no's and the no's is tough, man. Because you take it personally, even though you shouldn't. Because then you see who got cast and you're like, oh, that's a way better choice. Usually, yeah. What kind of cat? It was a tabby. Oh, thanks. Oh, thank you. Well, I had like a sketch comedy group. We made a lot of stuff. You can see us online. It was back in the day, and it's just real. Some of it's funny, some of it's real bad, and you're welcome to watch all of it. Um, but the reality between like writing your own shit and then getting that shit made, there's a real gulf there. And yeah, well, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. My mom used to call me up and be like, "Honey, why don't you just do you a soap opera?" And I'd be like, "You think I can just decide to do a soap opera, Mom?" She'd be like, "Well, do they know you want to?" And I'd be like, "They do, Mom. I've been in. They know." So like, I do want to, and maybe I should have a little more like, I should be more cavalier. I should be braver. Yeah.
Adrian?
L'esprit d'escalier.
You could design your dream role and dream project. Like, what would they be? Like, what would really light you up or be just like,
Dude. I mean, this pilot I just shot really lit me up. It used all of my gifts at once. It was like so much physical comedy, so much fast, just chunks of writing. I love text. I love to say words. I love to say them fast. And doing that, like interpersonal relationships. Yeah, I love it all because I don't really know. I don't really have a dream thing. I'd love to do like a Sorkin. My dad wants me to play a lawyer so badly. And I never play anyone with anything buttoned up. It's always like down to here. He's always like, the congregation really would love for you to be a doctor. You don't always have to be like drunk moms on the edge, um, prowling around a honky tonk. So like I would love to do something like heightened and intellectual, but I can't say enough how much I love to run into a door jam. I think that is one of my greatest gifts.
But I feel like Stumble was interesting though, right? Like that's a cool story, that's a cool thread, doesn't
It's
really get
so
out there, but it's
cool.
like it's a neat.
And the kids, they're not kids, they're in their 20s. When I was doing Dead Boys, it was my first time being the oldest one on set, and I was like, they're in their 20s, and I felt like Elaine Stritch. They were so, like, just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, just coming to the makeup trailer like, "Ah." I like 4 in the morning and, like, also very British and precious, and on Stumble too, they're, like, all in their early 20s. It's their first thing that they've ever done, and, like, I don't know, that's kind of it makes you feel good because you can get jaded, and they're just so precious, and I hope it goes for them too, because like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of when you first get an audition, what do you do? Like, what techniques do you like? Like, what's your technique? And then how is it different from when you actually book the role or have?
Dude, I read it and read it and read it and read it. I write it down.
Scream it like Richard Kind does.
Scream it like Richard. I write it down. I write all the lines down. I record them. So I listen to them while I'm like doing other stuff. I'm like huffing around the park, crying over the death of my young child, just like trying to get it in there. And then because it's so much is self tape now, like you used to go into the rooms, but like now it's so much you gotta be your own DP, like, your own everything, and you really are kinda taking a big swing with no guidance, You know how it is, you're just like, "Here's my take on this," and, so I just try to, like, get it in there, but I still hold my pages, even if it's a thing, because 'cause I'm like, I wanna I wanna give it a feeling that, like, there is a freedom there, that there's a rehearsal element, that, like also, maybe I'm hedging my bets. Maybe I'm like, "I'm kinda doing it this way, but I could do it a different way." Um, yeah. So that's what I do, and then if I book it, I'm off book almost immediately, like, that really matters to me. I wanna be overly prepared. I have friends that are like, they live for improv, they never do it the same way twice, and I'm just not that kinda animal. I really wanna be prepared, um, in an annoying way. Yeah. I wanna have written extra lines in case for some reason they're like, "Got any extra lines?" And I'm like, "Do I?" Yeah.
That's amazing. One more question.
And also a lot of shows make you improv now. Tons of improv.
You get it right.
Girl. Girl, you know. But then you're like, you see it in the trailer and you're like, "I should get a writing credit." Yeah, I know. But it's like, it's fun and it really keeps you on your toes. Yeah.
How much duration do you get on a set? You're mostly outside stage. Not just your marks.
Yeah, it depends, dude. It depends on who the director is and how old they are, Like, kind of, a lot of times, or there might be a no news is good news kind of director, and you kinda have to check in and be like, "Is this in the ballpark?" Um, but it really depends. Like, I was just when I did English teacher, Jonathan Kreisel, who, like, created Portlandia and Baskets and all this stuff, he was, like, he's such a cool dude, and he had such interesting ideas about how you could try this, and, um and then you get on other sets, and you're just like they are, like Richard was saying, it's like they're just kinda trying to get camera places and make the day. So it just depends. If it's a good direction, I like it. No, I love direction. I love getting an idea. Jeff Blitz directed this pilot, and he has, like, an Emmy for Stumble. He's so brilliant, and he would come up and just, like, whisper a thing. Um, Victoria what's her name? Gosh, she directed On Claws, and she directed Mandalorian. Victoria Mahoney. She's everything. She will come up and whisper a thing to you. She came up wi I was, like, in a scene, it was, like, a lot of screaming and yelling, and she came up and whispered in my ear, and she was like, "How about you try this one like a laser?" And I was like, and I felt my whole little self spark, and I knew exactly what she meant, that, like, I had to she said, "Try it more like a laser." She meant, like, focus it. Do you know what I mean? Burn a hole. And it was like, it changed the whole tenor of everything, and when somebody gives you something like, that's fun, dude.
Yeah,
Mm.
seeing Yelling to the Sky. Like, her film with Zoe Kravitz, like, way back.
No.
Why? Yeah, based on what you're saying and what resonates with you, I think you really like it.
I wanna see everything she ever does. She's the best. Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, Jenn Lyon, thank you so much.
Thank you. Check out Coffee with Ken. Okay. In an outlet near you.
Cheers to Jen, and thank you all, and enjoy North Fork TV Festival. Amazing time.